Hi you guys, for today's lesson of models for multiplying decimals, I'm going to show you several types of problems that you're going to run across today when you are practicing the skills that we are going over. As always, you will see the standard right down here that you will be graded on for today, so please keep that in mind throughout your work. So let's get started. So the first type of problem that you might come across today is going to be a problem that looks very similar to this. You're going to have 3 times 6 and 89 hundredths, which equals 2067. Well, I know one thing. I know that this answer is not correct because my answer does not contain a decimal point, and it needs a decimal point because there's a decimal right there. The easiest thing to do when you're coming across a problem that is written across horizontally is to write it vertically. So instead of having it going across like it is here, have it go up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my problem. 6 and 89 hundredths times 3. And that equals 2067. Now to figure out where my decimal point goes, all I need to do is count the places. When I look at my bottom number, do I see a decimal down here? No. So therefore, I go to the top. And then when I'm at the top, I see my decimal point here. I'm going to count how many spaces over it is. So I'm going to begin counting. 1, 2. So it's 2 places. So I'm going to come to my answer. I'm going to start at the far right-hand side. I'm going to count 2 places. 1, 2. And when I get there, I am going to put in my decimal point. So my answer is actually 20 and 67 hundredths. So here we are, and we're going to go over another type of problem that you're going to end up seeing today. You might see a problem that looks like this: 14 and 3/10 times 2 and 1/10 times 8. And now you're probably sitting there thinking, oh my God, what do I do? How do I multiply this? There are 3 numbers. Really? All you have to do is you start. I always like to start from the left-hand side. Always works best for me. So I start with my left-hand side, and I begin by multiplying the first 2 numbers. So let's start. 14 and 3/10 times 2 and 1/10. So I multiply this number out fully. Okay? Multiply it out fully. And when I get my answer right here, I'm going to take my answer and I'm going to multiply it by my last digit, for in this case is the 8. And when I'm done multiplying that out, and then this is my final answer. And you'll see then at the end, this is going to be your answer for this entire problem. You'll put it right here. Do you notice what I did here? This is going to be a problem that's going to be on your practice sheet. So instead of me doing it myself, I was showing you the steps to go about finishing it, so that way you don't rely on me to do your work for you. I know. The brilliance never ends. Here's another type of problem that you are probably going to see on your practice, and it's my favorite type of problem, which are word problems. The reason why I love word problems is because if you can solve a word problem, I know that you truly understand the skill that is being taught to you. So let's take a look at this word problem. We have Barry displayed 4 paintings side by side in one row. Each painting is of the same width, 3600 meters wide. What is the total width of the 4 paintings? The first thing I want to ask myself is, what do I need to find out? Well, I need to find out what is the width of the row of the 4 paintings. What is the total width of the row of the 4 paintings? Basically, if I put all 4 paintings side by side by side by side, what is that new width right there? So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write right next to my question. So I'm going to write total width of 4. I'm going to abbreviate because I don't have enough room. So what do I need to find out in this problem? I need to find out the total width of all 4 paintings. What's the next thing I need to find? Or actually, what information do I know or do I have in order to solve this problem? Because every word problem is going to give me enough information in order for me to solve it. So let's go back and take a look at our problem. Well, I know that the pictures are 3600 meters wide, so I know that I have 3600 meters. What else do I know? I do know that I have 4 paintings. Excellent, I'm on my way. Now the last thing is, what operation am I going to use in order to solve this problem? Let me see, am I going to use subtraction? Well, no, subtraction wouldn't work because I need to find out what's going to be the new width of the row of all 4 paintings combined. If I put all 4 of them together, what's that new width going to be? So that's not going to work. I can add each picture, I can add 3600 4 times, but that's kind of time consuming. There's an easier way. I'm going to multiply, right? Because I can simply multiply 3600 times 4. That would be the easiest. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use multiplication. So I'm going to put my symbol in here. I like to list these steps because it makes it easier for me to understand what it is I need to find out in a word problem. I can actually walk through it and talk myself through it, just like I just did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up my problem and I'm going to show you how to go about modeling this problem. So you can see here that I have my problem. I have 3600 times 4. And then over here I have my blocks that I can use to model my answer. The single one is just 1. 1 out of 100. 1/100th. And then one row is a tenth, okay? 1/10. And then one entire block is 1 whole, or 100. So let's go ahead and let's solve our problem. Let's do a little multiplying. I have 4 times 6, and that equals 24. I carry my 2. 4 times 3 is 12. Don't forget about that 2. Plus 2 is 14. Carry my 1. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Am I done? If you said no, pat yourself on the back of the head, because I have to move my decimal point. Do I have a decimal point down here? I don't, so I look up here. Do I have a decimal point? I sure do. It's right here. How many spaces am I going to move it? Let's find out. 1, 2. So in my answer, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to move it. 2 places. What 2 numbers should the decimal point go in between? If you said the 1 and the 4, give yourself another pat on the back because you did really well. Or on the back of the head, your call. So there you go. So I have my answer of 1 and 44/100. But I still need to model it. So how am I going to go about doing that? Okay, so what I just did down here in this huge mess of my beautiful artistic drawings is I just modeled this problem and the answer. If you look at these bars that you see here, these little red rectangles that are all in different shapes, just in this grouping here, these are all a tenth bar, okay? This is a tenth, this is 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, and 1/10. So what I did is I represented 3600 using my blocks. A 10 block and a 10 block and a 10 block gives me 30, and then I use 6 individuals to give me 3600. I repeated that process 4 times to show my equation of 3600 times 4. If you went ahead and you counted up all of these tenths blocks and then all these individual ones blocks, you would have an answer of 1 and 44/100. So if you're ever asked to model your equation, this is how you would go about doing it. You would start off by modeling the first part of your equation and then repeat it however many times you need to. And then your final should be, your answer would be all these together if you counted them all up. And that's how easy modeling is. Who says I can't be on America's Next Top Model? With blocks like that, I can do anything. Now that you're done with the video, what you're going to do is you're going to go into Schoology, you're going to open up the math course, and you're going to open the folder called Unit 6 Multiplying Decimals. I then want you to open the assignment called 6 4/10 Models for Multiplying Decimals, and then begin working on number 2. It says practice 6 4/10 Models for Multiplying Decimals. You will open that up in Notability and complete that and submit it right back to that Dropbox when done. When you are all done with your activity sheet, you may go on to IXL and you will jump onto a 5th grade skill of your liking. All right, good luck